The Federal High Court City in Abuja has ordered Governor Mondo Okpebholo of Edo State and the Edo State House of Assembly to maintain status quo on the suspension of the 18 council chairmen of the state. This is even as wind of impeachment have continued to blow in the state, with the government and the state assembly insisting on not going back on the suspension of the council chairman. Today, warm welcome on VOS TV Political Insights. Jude Aweke is my name. Today, we'll be taking a look at various issues that are, emanating from the suspension of the council chairman. It has been controversy with crisis looming. Yes, crisis looming. So we're going to take a look at issues that are surrounding the suspension of the council chairman in the states. I'm joined here in the studio by Barrister Richard Ofeimu. He is a private legal practitioner in Edo State and the first executive chairman of Onwa West local government area of the state. Barrister, welcome on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
This your field as a legal practitioner. So we want to know, what is the status of this whole political conflicts that is plaguing Edo State concerning the suspension of the council chairman, the 18 council chairman, on grounds of alleged financial misappropriation and also disobedience to the state governments. Taking a look at the Supreme Court's ruling on local government autonomy.
Most times we don't even know how to situate this because the Supreme Court has spoken, and one will expect that once the Supreme Court has spoken, that is the status of the law, and that every person is supposed to now abide by the ruling of the Supreme Court. Further than that, when the State House of Assembly suspended, did say they suspended the local government chairman, I wonder where they drew their powers from. Because the local government, the Supreme Court decision gave full autonomy to the local governments, and to that extent, one will expect that no other power, no other section of the government should infiltrate into the domain and the exercise of powers in the local governments. Let's take it for instance. I will not know if it is possible if the Senate or the National Assembly will sit back and pass a law and say, let the governor come and make,
the president,
the president or the governor of the states. I mean, let's just say the National Assembly making laws or making or writing to the governors of states to come and make suspending them from office. I think whether or not how they were elected or not, but they were elected by government, by the people of their various local governments. And I think the Federal Attorney General has also spoken in that regard that, well, it is only the council chairman, the council, that is the councillors themselves form the council in the local government. It is only those councillors themselves that have that prerogative to suspend, to remove a local government chairman. So I will not know. And I think the issues that we have raised, that as to whether or not the legality of whether or not it was proper or right for the House of Assembly to write letters, to write to the local government chairman, asking them to come and suspending them, whether it is right, I think it's something that is before the courts already. And I'm sure the court will also come up with a decision. Now, just like you have said, that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has made a pronouncement to that effect, although an interim order to that effect, that the status quo should be maintained as at 15th of December, when the issues were. Let's see, I want to think that democracy will only thrive if there's obedience to the rule of law. I want to expect to that the government of Edo State and every other government, every other person, will obey the laws. Because without laws, they will not also be in the positions where they are in today. So we must respect the law if we have to maintain a proper democracy in this country. I don't know if I've answered your question. So you want more?
I think let's talk more on the legal aspect of this. Legally speaking, does the Supreme Court's ruling on local government autonomy, overrides the power of state assemblies to oversight local governments?
The constitution gave powers to the states as for assembly to make laws for the effectual running of local governments. That does not go to the extent of suspending the local government chairman. The various houses of assembly has powers to make laws. That is why, pursuant to the constitutional provisions, that's why they made the local government laws of 2000 as amended in 2002. And if you look at section 19 of that law, it spells out, very explicitly how a local government chairman could be removed from office, how the vice chairman could be removed from office. So it is clear. So, and I want to see a situation that we are not in a banana republic. People must work in accordance to the law. The due process of it should be followed. Thank you.
With this whole issue now, what would you recommend as a legal practitioner? Because we're beginning to see that the issue is gradually snowballing into violence. We have pockets of violence that are already sprouting in some of the local governments in the states. A number of them, whereby the impeachments are carried out and the impeached trying to defend their position that it's unconstitutional, it's illegal. So what are you advising as a legal practitioner?
I think these people, they should approach the courts and see whether or not the due process, as enunciated in laws, have been duly followed. And the courts will certainly make pronouncements in that regard. And I do expect that once the courts make pronouncement, everybody will follow the rule of law.
Now, let's take a look at the issue of the various allegations, financial misappropriation and disobedience to the state governor. Does disobedience to the state governor amount to, suspension? It's
ridiculous to say that there are areas of respect, areas of domain between the local government chairman and that of the governor. And such respect goes in terms of their functionality and their constitutional, roles that they need to play. It doesn't go to the extent of, oh, fine, I sent for you, you couldn't come, so because of that. They are not, there's what you call separation of powers. The local government itself is a separate tier of government. Whether you like it or not, it's a government of its own. It has its own legislator and it has its own executive. And want to see that in the near future, what we advise to that even the customary courts themselves should be under the local government so that it becomes a proper government, because the government has to be made up of the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. So to that extent, I don't think that the local governments are not directly, the local government chairmen, that is by the pronouncement of the Supreme Court, are not supposed to, and in fact, are not under, directly that the governor will just call them, this is what we want to be done and not done. They are constitutional areas and they have constitutional rules to both perform.
They are alleging, the council chairman, they are alleging that the government wants them to run a joint account, joint accounts. With this local government autonomy, legally speaking, is just supposed to be a situation whereby council and state government run a joint account?
During my time as local government chairman, we used to have what we call state joint account. But if the court has come, made pronouncement on it, and that say, yes, the local government now have total autonomy on their own. And the Supreme Court also ruled too that their finances should be paid directly to the local government. I don't know whether that one still makes it necessary for them to continuously have a joint account. Though it's specified, but most of these things needs to be tidied up by pronouncements of courts.
Now, so the council chairman, what are you advising?
I have said so before.
Should they comply?
Was there a suspension? That's the question
Yes.
I want to ask. Was there a legal suspension? So those are the areas that they should go to court and find out whether it was legal or it was not legal. If the courts, they have said so, the court has said, let the status quo be maintained. If the courts have said that this is the position, that what they call, there's no legality in the suspension, and the people still go on to, what you say that the House of Assembly and the government is in power is maintaining that the suspension, I don't think they will do so. I think they, as lawmakers, as people who were brought into office by law, I think they will respect the law.
I think one of the many reasons that the government claimed it's, that to back up its decision on the suspension of the council chairman is the need for grassroots development, effective grassroots development. So is it not possible that local governments, they are autonomous and they will still be effective grassroots development even without operating jointly with the state governments? We were once a local government chairman.
Yeah, during my time as local government chairman, there was a level of independence, and we're actually elected by the people. There are a lot of issues that involves the way how this local government chairman had emerged. It's not just in Edo State. I think it has been a national issue. How local government, how every party, if you are in party B, the state government is in charge of the state. So once they do local government elections, they win all the states, all the councillorship in the state. It shows that we need to do something about it. When I was chairman, I was elected by the people on what you call option A4, where people line behind you. That's how elections were. So we're truly and we're responsible to the people. Governor, once a chairman is elected, is responsible to the people who elected him in that local government. And that is why the law prescribes that the only powers that could remove them is the council, which is made up of the councillors themselves. That is when they that's following the due process and due procedures as enunciated in the local government laws.
I have to think that if this whole situation is not properly handled, it's likely to, snowball into a replica of what occurred in River States.
Well, I want to think, and it's also advisedly that all parties should sheath their sword, just as you have said. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has made a ruling, say, let the status quo remain until they look at what they call the merits of the matter before them. So, if they are law-abiding, and I expect they should be law-abiding, they should hearken to the ruling of the court and follow. But there's another dimension to it. That one relates to the issue of the suspension and the others. Then we are not talking about the issues of impeachment, which is directly another thing entirely. Maybe following the pronouncement of the Federal Attorney General that came out to say that, well, the council or the governor didn't have that powers to so act in that area. That is what now informed the councillors themselves going in to start doing impeaching their chairman. Well, we will not say they have the powers to impeach their chairman, but they should do it legally, because there's a process for doing so. If they have not followed the process, they should approach the court, and I believe the court will do the needful.
As a council chairman, what impact do you think this whole thing will have on the people, most especially at the grassroots level?
We have a problem. The problem we have is, what are we practicing? Whether we are practicing democracy, whether the people matters or not. That is the problem with that. So if the people do matter, I believe that the interest of the people, the concern of the people will be taken into cognizance.
Let's take a look at the issue of ongoing defection of some of the chairmen and the councillors. Does this suggest the end of the PDP or giving up their alleged stolen mandates?
Well, I will not know that, but I do know I'm an APC member.
Yes.
I'm a card-carrying member of the APC, but I will say too that any person that feels that is right, one way or the other, either political or the others, has been infracted upon, has a right to approach the court. Their matter is in court, and we expect that justice will be done either way. The way it is, having regards to what happened. But the main important thing that should be of concern to us all is that the interest in democracy is our democratic practice. Are we developing it? Are we getting better? I think people are getting to lose interest in the entire democratic system. And the courts need to do quite a lot to instill more discipline in the people. You see a situation where a man who is elected on the platform of a political party, tomorrow he defects to the other party. I don't know if you have looked at the ballot papers when you are going to be voted for. Whether you vote for the candidate, his person, or you vote for the political party. What matters there is the political party that are on the ballot papers. Invariably, you are voting for the political party. So when individuals without due course or due course to the provisions of the Constitution, or they don't just rise up and leave the party, I think the Constitution also make provisions for it, and they also have right to also go to court and see whether or not their defection was in order or not in order.
Do you think it's too early for Governor Mondo Gbewulu, who is barely 2 months into office, having this kind of conflicts with local government chairmen, duly democratically elected chairman?
I think himself, he came in not through the barriers of the gun, he came in through democratic practice. And one we also expect too that as a Democrat, he will respect the rule of law when the court makes final orders.
Do you think there's a better way to really, work with this council chairman for the development of the state, other than resorting to all of this?
Well,
or is it because they are in the opposition party?
That they are doing what?
They are in the opposition party.
That is making, I won't know that, because every local government has their own issues that made them to either suspend the chairman or impeach the chairman. Like I have said, is that, yes, impeachment is a provision, is a power that is granted to the councils or to the councillors, but they must do it in accordance with the law. The problem is that we need to develop our democratic practice, our democratic beliefs, and how we value our democratic practices. We need to work more on that, not just because of APC, PDP, and so on. The average psyche of the man on the street needs to be, re-engineered.
So what's your view on the alleged influence of the government on EDH's leadership suspension of the council bosses?
Well, I won't know the extent of his involvement, but we hear, and from what you heard, it was general opinion that a letter was written to the State House of Assembly, and based on it, the State House of Assembly made this pronouncement. So what are you asking me against public knowledge?
Influencing their decision.
The local governments have what the office of the state local government auditor general. That audits their various accounts. And in the local government laws, every council chairman, every local government chairman is supposed to make what you call monthly financial report to the council on a monthly basis. I don't know which law states that they should make it to the state. That's the area we're talking about.
So just before we round off the program, as a one-time council boss, not even a one-time, a panel council boss of a council in the state, what are you advising? What are you recommending?
In terms of what, which area?
Yes, in terms of this whole conflict between the council and the state governments.
Is that they should abide by the laws, that they should abide by the pronouncements of the courts. The courts have said, sheet your swords, let the status quo be maintained. Let them sheet their swords, let them, maintain the status quo and approach the courts for whatsoever remedies that are available to both parties.
Thank you very much, sir, for your immense contributions on the program. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to having you again subsequently.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We've been speaking with Barrister Richard Ofeimu, a private legal practitioner in Edo State and also the first executive chairman of Onwa West local government area of Edo State.
To add to it, I was also chairman of the defunct Onwa local government when the two were brought together in the then Bende State.
Wow.
So it's been a long time.
Yeah. It has been a long time of him being in governance.
Not necessarily in governance, but actively in politics. But
still active in politics. A card-carrying member of the APC is also a card-carrying member of the APC. We'll be taking a look at the whole issues surrounding the suspension of the local government chairman, the 18 local government chairman of Edo State, and the position of the courts, the Supreme Courts, and there's those state governments and state assembly position. Insistence on the suspension of the chairman. We hope that they come to terms with this whole conflict and find a way out of it for the development of the state, for the development of the various councils, the grassroots. And that is where we round off the program today on VOS TV Political Insights. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jude Aweke. Bye for now.